Good morning, everybody, and I tell you what, it's going to be spiky today. We've had Sam and Paul on for the last 7 or 8 minutes, and I can tell you, we are in for a dust storm. Now then, welcome to the EV Café News at 10 o'clock. Half an hour of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from the EV Café crew, ably supported by our new sponsor, Drax Electric Vehicles. One of the checkpoints on the upcoming EV rally in the first week of September. Can't wait. Anyway, today I'm lucky enough to be refereeing disagreements between Paul, Sam and Sarah. Lovely to have you all here. Let's have a quick round the room. Sarah, last to join but best in the house. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Technical difficulties. I'm coming for your crown, Paul Kirby.
Golly, didn't know you had a crown. Paul, how's your week been, mate?
Well, my week has been particularly testing because I've had to spend it with a particular colleague for most of it. No, it was actually wonderful. Me and JC have been hanging out. We've been visiting. We've been chatting. We've been strategizing. I mean, it doesn't get any better, right? The EV Café.
And we had noodles in Westminster.
Oh,
We had
another noodle.
And they weren't expensive either. It was very good value.
Indeed. Yeah, it was a real breath of fresh air, quite literally. Almost didn't see any cars at all. Quite wonderful. And Samuel. Now then, a little bird tells me, Samuel, that I am to mention something about a Le Mans test. Do say more.
Well, I thought you were going to say something about world record, but I can't talk about that yet. Yeah, I'm up north burning rubber and petrol today and tomorrow for the first time
What's
in many
wrong with you?
I know. However, there is a. Well, I'm doing it with our great friend Chris Ramsey, the adventurer. We're doing a rally, not a rally. We're doing a 24-hour go-kart race or karting race this weekend, which will be a lot of fun. But yes, I am burning rubber and petrol. However, that is where rubber and petrol should be burnt. There's nothing wrong with the petrol engine still. However, it must be done, I think, in controlled environments. Not on our roads. But if racing wants to continue with petrol, that's okay with me, providing we electrify everything else.
Wow.
I'd love it if Paul or John were doing this. You'd absolutely crucify them.
Probably, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On a go-kart.
Sounds right.
Yeah, but John, you wouldn't fit in a go-kart. You'd just be massive.
So just for the listeners, sake, I do recall that there are electric carts available because we as the EV Cafe team went on an electric karting thing. So it seems like that electric karting is perfectly possible and therefore should still be changed over, similarly to Grand Prix and all of that sort of stuff. I think we should be decarbonising all of these sectors, don't you, John?
No,
I do.
Focus on vans, mate. Focus on vans. That's what we need to do. Right, anyway, I'm very interested to know what kind of week you, the listener or viewer, have had. There's been a lot of chat about how tough it is in business at the moment, and I want to know, how has your week been? Did you dive or did you thrive?
Oh, lovely.
One word, dive or thrive.
No, I need both. You need both sometimes. Yeah.
All right, okay, so did you dive, did you thrive, or did you just survive?
No, I definitely didn't just survive. I dived and thrived. So got challenges, but definitely thrived as well. So it's been a very challenging but exhilarating week.
Good, right, okay. Now then, the news. Coming up, we've got something about new car registrations being impacted by the electric car grant. Can't believe that, but we'll run the story just to out it, really. The first 4 EVs to get the government's new electric car grant have been revealed. We get under the skin of that EV tortoise. There's an exciting pilot to expand shared EV charging for high mileage vehicles. And 1/5 say they will never switch to an EV. Good luck with that. Now then, first up, we've got the commercial clap where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry.
The commercial clap from the EV Café.
Innovation applauded.
Right, Paul, stand by. First up, we have launched the UK's first fleet-focused, EV-only comparison website with our partners, leasing.com. It is the UK's first time this has been done, unbelievably. Paul, exciting times.
It is exciting times. I love the fact that we can now deliver electric vans and cars only. So just focused on electric vans and cars and help customers compare these and give them a business environment to do that in. So they can compare your Ford Transit with your Vauxhall Vivaro, with your Maxus this and that, and Iveco and blah, blah. They're all there and you can compare them. And there's cars as well. I know. They are 10 times the amount of sales of vans, so we absolutely should be able to compare those as well. But it's very exciting, and I love it.
Good stuff. Sarah?
I've got to hand it to them. I was on there going, well, let's put them through their paces and do a direct comparison, a like-for-like comparison with 2 other websites. And it was definitely very tempting. Can't say what they was because that would be upsetting for everyone. I mean, complete breach of our contracted rights. But I can assure you that it was cheaper. And somebody put in our comments, beware the pricing includes VAT or doesn't include VAT. I can't remember which way round it is. So can we clear that up?
No.
So it's the price you see is the price you pay. Done. Brilliant.
Totally.
Nice.
Go on, Paul.
So let's just be clear. So some prices are plus VAT, which are business contract hire leases only. And there are personal leasing options which do include VAT. Please look at the terms and conditions on the website. We are not advertising any particular vehicle or any particular price. We are pointing you in that direction and giving you a window into the world of the best deals available on the web. So head over to evcafe.org and click on leasing options.
And what you will notice is that you can choose whether it's personal or business, car or van. So
Correct.
You can look at business van and you'll get the excluding VAT price. So go have a look. It is quite wonderful. Now then, a major expansion of Europe's battery industry is underway and the numbers are impressive. Across Europe, the battery supply chain currently supports 62,000 full-time jobs, and that seems very impressive. However, when you dig below the surface, you see just how massive the automotive industry is. In Europe, the automotive supply chain supports 14 million people and their jobs. And this represents approximately 6% of the EU's total labour force. Now then, if the current investment and policy trends continue, the number working in the EV sector alone and battery supply could rise to 312,000 by 2030. Inevitably, this is going to lead to people being reskilled and losing jobs, and we know that change is challenging, but the transition is happening. And often we get criticised and people say, oh, it's only the automotive industry wanting to stay afloat. That's why they've introduced EVs. Have a think about that for a minute. At 2030, we will still have only 312,000 people involved in the battery supply from 14 million currently in the industry. So it's a massive, massive change, but commercially the right thing to do. And finally, logistics firm John G. Russell has collaborated with the Cleaner Group on e-truck megawatt charging infrastructure. Cleaner Group's expertise will provide dedicated planning, design, utility and on-site e-truck charging solutions for Russell's Group, including Scotland's first megawatt charging system. Yay! This solution will allow for charging from 0 to 80%, and this is for an HGV, in 31 minutes. A game-changing dwell time for EHGVs. That, Sam's given a grimace. What's the grimace, Sam?
I mean, it will, but we're not there yet. So let's just manage expectations. Vehicles can't charge that quickly yet, but that is where we're going to get to. So it's still good news, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay, the commercial clap. That's us done. Okay, right, let's get on with the news. A dip in new car registrations in July has been blamed in part on buyers waiting to see what models will qualify for the electric car grant. The new car registrations fell by 5% in the month to 140,000 units, according to the latest figures by the SMMT. The performance was the weakest for that month since 2022, so in a couple of years, and 11% lower than in pre-pandemic 2019. The government launched its electric car grant in July and full model eligibility has yet to be confirmed. More on that in a minute because they have started. And the SMMT say this is causing some buyers to hold off pending confirmation of which vehicles will qualify for a discount of up to $3,750. Sarah, I'm not sure I agree with this. Seriously, are the SMT genuinely saying that people are saying, oh, I'm going to wait for a grant and see if maybe they might qualify for 1,500 quid or 3,750? Seriously?
Do you know what? I have seen a positive reaction to this. So yes, people are waiting. They really are. 3,000 is 3,000, whatever is £3,000. So that is kind of what they're doing. But what I've also seen is dealers being smart and clever, because actually the paperwork is a pain in the proverbial. So they don't really want to be going through the grant process or turning customers away and waiting for that grant process. So I'm seeing dealers do everything they can to give little perks and benefits along the road that will incentivise someone without the laborious grant process. So I'm feeling hopeful.
And speaking of feeling hopeful, here's Sam.
Yeah, I think, Paul, it is correct. I think I agree with Sarah. I think people are waiting, and this is just another example of uncertainty in the way that we've applied our regulations, which just cause delays. Now, whether that's very cleverly done in order to do just that, or whether it's in a competence or a level of incompetency in regards to the way in which we set our regulations, it's just another example of just changing the goalposts or moving things or not doing it fully. It just slows things down and makes things more disparate. And it's evidenced in these numbers, and that's why I get annoyed by these things, because if we just had a strategy and stuck to it and said this is what we're doing, then we'd all be in a lot better place and we'd be much further forward with vehicle electrification.
Yeah. Paul?
We said to government, focus on used vehicles, provide support by all means. Yes, there is still effort needed. But we did say that the car sector was broadly going in the right direction. And it didn't need necessarily fiscal incentive on the purchase of new vehicles, and they didn't listen. And it's fine that they have been engaging, but they're just not doing what they're being asked to do. They're listening to the experts and then doing their own thing, and that isn't the way forward. That 3,750 quid spent on used vehicles in a much simpler, more straight line way would have been much more effective to help the whole market move forward. As it is, they're just stalling new car sales. Well done.
Yeah. Now ordinarily I would go to the shout-outs now, but I'm going to keep going with this story because the government has announced the first 4 models to receive part of the 650 million electric car grants for models under £37,000, and they're all French. Citroën is the first manufacturer to have EVs officially pass the government's stringent technical and environmental sustainability criteria, the EC3, EC4 and EC5 and e-Berlingo van. Now, I didn't know that.
I want one. I used to have a Berlingo. Oh, yeah. I really want one now.
So we got a van in the system, which is great, and they'll all receive £1,500 off, which is the lower level 2 grant that's available. The discount will automatically be applied from the 5th of August, so it's in, now, running. Citroën say that 6 models in the electric passenger car lineup are now priced under £36,000. I'm pleased to see the van, Paul, the Berlingo. Good news?
Yeah, I mean, it's good news, but, I mean, look, there's already a grant on the Berlingo, so I don't quite know how it works. It must be the car version of it. So it has to be the passenger carrying version, because obviously the vans already have a grant. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, so not really what it seemed. It seems like a bit of a damp squib, to be really honest, and I'm sure we could have spent £650 million in a better way. Any final thoughts, Sarah?
Yes, totally. I'm confused because we've covered this news article before and we were like, we need cheaper vehicles, we need the lower end market fulfilled, and now that's happening and we're all down about it. It's mad to me. And I just put a thing on there about Citroën, we have to say Citroën, and they have always specialised in that entry-level, lower-cost vehicle. So I'm so pleased to see that they're jumping through the hoops to be the most environmental, the most certified, the most accessible in terms of price. They deserve these headlines, and a lot of people do say, oh, if it was less than 30 grand, I'd buy it, or I'd lease it, or I'd rent it. Whereas those things like my car's 50 because it's a Tesla, so that's inaccessible to some people. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the public feel.
Pablo.
PK.
The least bit is the important bit, right? Because over 50%, probably 60% of all new cars are going through a lease model of some kind through business leasing and blah, 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 blah. We're not focusing on preparing the value of the used vehicle. So actually, you could probably pay more for an EC3 than you would do for something that has a good residual value but is more expensive. And that's the problem. So if we're not solving the used market, we are not helping the new market.
Interesting.
And I do think that if we all agree with each other all of the time, this would be the most boring thing in the world.
Yeah.
And taking different perspectives on this, because we're representative of the market in some ridiculous way, because we take those different views. It's part of our strength. Now then, what do you think about all these things? Let's go to the shout-outs.
Yes.
Mark Cornwall, I missed that.
Well, sorry, he was just. Oops, I just hit something button. I didn't mean to. He was just saying that used vehicle values don't help government targets, and he's sort of right. I hear him.
Yeah, but it does help in providing clean air and encouraging people to drive electric vehicles. And
absolutely.
that matters. Right, okay, let's do the shout-outs. Gary Comerford, 7:44. And he's a regular with his alarm clock. Well done, mate. He's up and at 'em. Steve Wart, 7:54, 10 minutes later from Economy Trucks. Steve, missed you last week, mate. Really missed you. And clearly you need a bit more practice. So we'll give you a shout early doors. Graham McLaren Harris, lovely to see you. Great to have you. Stuart Humphrey, is anyone up to anything fun this weekend? What do you class as fun, my friend? James Hobson from Screenwash King. Oh, yeah, Sam is. He's go-karting for 24 hours. James Hobson from Screenwash King. Nice to have you here. It's his birthday. Oh, happy birthday, mate. Really great to know that. Ian Mayhew, he's in Southbourne this week. He was in Bournemouth last week. He's in Southbourne now. He's got
Good
the message.
lad. Good lad.
Last one till September. What's the matter? You got no internet where you're going on holiday? That's not on. Tracy Kearns, lovely to see you. Ash Bannister, two mugs. He's here. Mark Elliott, great to see you from Lichfield. Nick Gerald, good morning, sir. From the aforementioned Drax Electric Vehicles, they know a thing or two about getting into EV. Ron Godfrey from EV Beano, he's here. Hello, oh great people. He's not wrong, you know. Sam Grates. Teresa Swift, lovely to have you here. And then Belinda Guy, who this week, now Belinda should be celebrated, our 1,000th YouTube follower.
Yes.
But Belinda has come out on social media and said, I have a dream. In my lifetime, I will create a car brand. I'm going to make a car. And I'm phenomenally impressed by her that she has come out at her tender age and said, do you know what? I've got a dream and I'm going to follow it. And I'm going to climb every hill, overcome every mountain, go through the rivers and the woods because I'm going to make this happen. Now then, Paul, if you were to do the same thing and create a van, what would it be called?
Oh, well, come back to me. I'll think of something.
All right, Sam, he's got one. I knew he would. Go.
I literally did create a vehicle. In 2002, I designed a motorbike called the Baroni, which we imported from China and Germany. And Baroni was my grandfather's heritage Italian name. So I've been through the journey of building your own vehicle, branding it, building it and selling it. And I can tell you it's the hardest and greatest failure of my life. So if Belinda's going to make it better, then I wish her the best of luck. But it's hard, really hard.
Wow, Baroni, right. Never heard of them, but we're going to find one. We've got to find one. Paul.
I think they're all dead now, John.
You'll have a job.
You can occasionally see on drop-down menus on insurance choices for motorbikes, Baroni comes up. So that's the only thing I've seen that's still in existence where there's a legacy of those vehicles existing.
That might actually be the only sweet thing that Sam Clark has ever done. That named, the brand after his grandfather.
Hang on. I think I've agreed with you once or twice over the years.
I think that was a mistake.
Okay, maybe that is sweet.
Anyway,
too, yeah.
Oh, come on. Look at EV Musings, the Kirby Mobile. We have to. Belinda, please call it the Kirby Mobile if you do go ahead.
Back
Kirby
to the shout-outs. Mark Cornwall, the aforementioned morning, my friend. Rob Dustin, good to see you. Leon Gomez, hello. Dev Chakravarti, DEV in the house. Mark Main, hello. Ben McDonald. Heat dome incoming. That sounds interesting.
Heat
Peter
dome.
Lever, good to have you back. He's off to Edinburgh to watch Oasis. I'm close to Edinburgh and I won't be watching Oasis. Thank you kindly. Mike Seymour, hello. Amy Carter, she's daft, you know. Sarah Sloman, she's here, we know. Mike Seymour. Who else we got in the house? Do you know who I haven't seen yet? Jim Blair, he's here.
He's here. I've seen Jim.
But he wants a special prize for being the last to turn up. Jim, do you have an EV Café mug, my friend? If you don't, reach out to little old me and we'll send you one. I think I'm rapidly get Mike Seymour. We've spoken about
Matthew Ling. Matthew Ling.
Matt Lang. Yeah, no, sorry, I'm late. Got that one. And I've got to say, one person I've noticed
Phil
that
Reeves
isn't here
Phil
is
Reeves.
Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth. Huge amount of
LinkedIn
comments.
user. Morning, you EV
There
rock
he
stars.
is. There he is.
LinkedIn user. That's weird.
It's not an EV Cafe news without Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth. Right, okay.
Kirby Cab.
Sam.
I've got one more shout out to do. In the last 3 weeks, 2 weekends, I've done 2 epic things. One thing I just talked, I'm going to do, and the other thing I can't talk about yet. But I just want to shout out a certain lady who I can see in this screen, who's been there supporting with everything that I've been trying to do in the last few weeks. And so I want to give a shout out to her to say thank you so much for all your support. There, done.
Oh, thank you. It is the dream team after all.
Herbie the Kirby Mobile.
I know there's some good ones.
Kirby the Kirby.
Well, I was thinking the curb crawler, but I'm not sure that it'll take off.
No.
Let's move on. Delivery of a major new project to develop and trial shared electric vehicle charging models for high mileage fleets in London has got underway. The project, part of a global effort by C40 and Uber to increase charging access for more than 55,000 drivers in London, Boston and Phoenix, involves Cenex, supporting the development of 3 real-world charging pilots in London. The 24-month pilot, which is scheduled to conclude in 2027, also includes a 12-month period for ongoing pilot support and data analysis. It will investigate how charging infrastructure can be shared among various operators, including taxi drivers, delivery fleets, and essential service providers. Paul, we're going to keep a close eye on that one. It's really important for businesses that they start to look at sharing assets, because lumping all that money into charging and making sure that they can look after their own little niche is great, but the business case is much better if you share.
Oh, absolutely. And I was talking to an organisation this morning before coming here, and this was, the question was, is this sharing thing real or is it just a myth? And it is real, yes it is, but it's at its very infancy. And I was at the SMMT conference, and we had the opportunity to ask questions. And Justin Laney, who is a well-known advocate for electric mobility and zero emissions and all that sort of stuff, and head of John Lewis Transport, said that, in answer to my question, would it help? He said it would be a game changer. And I do think if we got a collaborative network, particularly I think in trucks, and Sam, maybe you may agree or disagree, but I think the trucks, because they're traveling between some of these sheds often, that they are, if they're able to charge either end, and also it solves some of the cost problem as well. So the charging opportunities and sharing that network is phenomenal and could indeed be a game changer, and we should really focus on it.
Paul, Sam, is this an AI and software kind of area where we need a good system that people can tap into?
Well, congratulations, Mr. Curtis. I do believe you've hit the proverbial nail on the head. So yes, it is. That is the biggest challenge here. Consolidation in logistics and freight, I've tried to do for many years in London, and it's not everyone thinks the principle is great, and it is. It's the activity of doing it which is the complex part, and the more people you have in the supply chain that want access to this stuff, it gets complicated, and it's going to have to be a software and AI based intelligence that makes this work. The technology is there, the appetite is there, the principle is obviously sound. It's the doing which is the really hard part. It's so complex to get everyone, and it's particularly in the commercial sector. You cannot fail. You must charge when you need to, and it must always work.
We were in Sustainable Ventures yesterday in County Hall in Westminster. A whole floor of brilliant brains, all working on sustainability challenges, from carbon capture right through to those kind of software systems. And it was really inspiring, Paul, wasn't it, to see so many young, brilliant minds crafting our future.
It was, and we walked around and you just saw all of these people. And in so many business environments, it could be really dull. But, as you looked across the sort of plethora of sort of little wooden squares with names on, it was fantastic. New Automotive were there, Clearwatt were there. There was, geophysics companies focused on, kind of driving down, carbon emissions, carbon sequestration. I mean, it was just a myriad of companies, all that have met a particular standard. There was awards coming out of their ears as well. Just on every window and every door, there was an award for this or an award for that. It was very inspiring, yes.
Sarah, I'm coming to you for this last story, and it's a fifth, 19% of future car buyers believe they will never switch to an electric vehicle, according to a new survey by Motability Operations. The company which runs the Motability scheme revealed the figures from its EV transition tracker, which also suggested a lack of exposure and familiarity with EVs may still be deterring many from making the switch. Some 43% of the UK public have never driven nor been a passenger in an EV, and only 21% of this group would consider buying an EV. But it also found that with EV experiences, people are more likely to feel positive about the vehicles and consider having one, whilst just 24% of those who've never been driven or been an EV passenger feel positive about EVs. Positivity jumps to 44% amongst those who've been a passenger, 74% amongst those who've charged an EV, and 90% among those who own one. The reality of this is you just got to get a bum in a seat. We've just got to get out there and get people in EVs.
Yep, the figures don't lie. I was just going to say there's got to be a bums on seats game, and I'm taken back to the Welsh Rally, the EV Welsh Rally by Greenfleet, where we saw Motability Operations alongside EVA England talking about precisely this. So whilst the data today at the moment has lots of people saying never, 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 it does equally show that those who do try incrementally do get there. It also cites hybrids. That word's come back time and time again this last few weeks about being a positive stepping stone for people. I was talking to Kevin Booker about the hybrid that he's been testing, whatever, and it's got this incredible electric range and barely used the petrol at all. But I did say, would you still buy two engines though? So for me, a motor and an engine, it didn't make any sense still to me, just go full EV. So how do we join all these news stories together? How do we get the grants where they need to be, the affordability where it needs to be, the opportunity to try and buy and ride and hire and lease these vehicles so that people don't feel threatened by the high ticket price? They see the benefits of going EV and want to be part of the community. If only we knew an organisation who's good at spreading the word.
Don't stop there though, because you've got two stories about successful sharing of charging infrastructure.
Oh, that's very kind. I'll be really quick. Okay, so yes, well, I love hearing real world examples, and yours, Sam, of commercial sharing that didn't work however long ago that was. And great to see Cenex joining with 40 cities globally to try and work this out using big brands and big names to crack this nut. But even locally, so in North Somerset, when the North Somerset Council offices were shut, the very forward-thinking fleet manager opened the EV chargers that were used for our own vehicles to the public, and we caused a queue on the M5 because people were trying to come in to use this charger. That was a very funny story where it actually started to spread the word and work. And the second one was buses. We've long talked about buses being a very successful use case. They're highly predictable. We know where they're due to go and how long they're going to be out for. And First Bus are working with Power on this one to make that a success. We've seen it in Holland for years, decades, in fact, of depot sharing for buses. So perhaps it's separating out the use cases and going for the low-hanging fruit first.
Fabulous. Good. Right, that brings this week's news to a close. If you've got any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. because our email is now working. You'll be delighted to know. It's been a bit of a bun fight over the last 10 days or so, but we're there. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from them. This has been an EV Café production. Other sustainability news services are available, but this is just funner! The EV Café is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Spiry, Schneider Electric, Dynamon, EV Blocks, AW Energy and CPD bodies. We're the EV Café, supporting the transition even to clean transport with a great deal of support and love from Drax Electric Vehicles. And that's a two-way street. Enjoy the rest of the day. And now will you behave, you two? Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, wherever it takes you. Until next Friday. Bye!
Bye.
Crawler, are you serious?